Only one sign will survive December without tears. December arrived not with a festive chill, but with a strange, heavy silence. In a small, forgotten town nestled between snow-dusted mountains, 12 friends gathered. They were inseparable, each born under a different star sign, a cosmic joke they'd cherished since childhood. But this year, the stars felt different. Ominous Leah, always the group's radiant center, called the meeting in the Old Town Library. His usual confident smile was gone, replaced by a line of worry. "You all felt it, right?" he asked, his voice low. "Look quiet." The dread, Aries, ever impatient, slammed a book on the table. "Felt what, Leo? It's just winter. Stop being so dramatic." But even as he spoke, his hand trembled. Pisces, wrapped in a thick scarf, shivered. "It's like the joy is being drained from everything." She looked around at the others. Scorpio was staring out the window, his expression unreadable. Virgo was meticulously straightening a stack of papers, her focus intense, almost frantic. Gemini was whispering nervously to themselves, a one-person debate society. The librarian, an old man named Alara, who had seen generations come and go, shuffled over. He placed a dusty, leather-bound book on their table. Its cover was blank, but the air around it crackled with energy. "This book," he rasped, "finds those who need it. It tells a story of a celestial trial, a test of spirit. It says that when the final month of the year feels empty, only one sign's heart will be strong enough to pass through unscathed." A collective gasp filled the room. Taurus, pragmatic and grounded, scoffed. "A trial? Seriously? It's folklore. Old stories to scare kids." But Capricorn, ever the strategist, picked up the book. "What if it's not what? If this feeling we all have is the start of it?" He opened the book. Day. The first page contained a single, chilling sentence. "The first tear shed marks the beginning." The very next day, the trial began. It wasn't a grand celestial event. It was subtle, personal, and cruel. The first to fall was cheerful, optimistic Sagittarius. An avid traveler, they received a letter that their dream job, a position guiding tours through ancient ruins, had been given to someone else. It was a simple, bureaucratic rejection, but it shattered their lifelong dream. At the coffee shop that afternoon, a single tear traced a path down their cheek. As it fell, the others felt a palpable shift, a deepening of the cold. The book in Capricorn's study now had a new line under the first. "The archeress' aim falters. Hope is the first to fade." Next was Gemini. Known for their wit and social grace, they found themselves utterly alone. Friends cancelled plans. Phone calls went unanswered. At a town gathering, they tried to join conversations, only to have people turn away, as if they were invisible. The crushing weight of sudden, inexplicable loneliness became unbearable. Sitting on a park bench, surrounded by happy families, they broke down. The book updated itself. The twins stand alone, their voices lost to the wind. The trials grew more personal. Aries, the fearless leader, was faced with a challenge they couldn't punch their way through. Their family business, built over generations, was on the verge of collapse due to a competitor's underhanded tactics. The powerlessness was a poison, and in the dead of night, the warrior wept in frustration. Pisces, the dreamer, had their beautiful, imaginative world invaded by relentless nightmares. Sleep offered no escape, only terror. Virgo's perfectly ordered life was thrown into chaos by a series of small, maddening accidents, chipping away at their sense of control until they couldn't take it anymore. Libra, who sought balance in all things. was forced to make an impossible choice between two friends, knowing they would lose one forever. The heartbreak was immense. The friends tried to support each other, but the trials were designed to isolate. Leo, the proud lion, saw his community turn against him over a misunderstanding, his reputation tarnished. The loss of admiration, of his pride, was a wound too deep to hide. Cancer, the nurturing caregiver, found their efforts to help thrown back in their face, their kindness mistaken for manipulation. Aquarius, the forward-thinking humanitarian, watched their community project, a shelter for the homeless, get shut down by red tape just as the harshest cold snap hit. The feeling of failing the people they most wanted to help was a crushing burden. Even steady Taurus was broken. Their small, beloved farm, their connection to the earth, was threatened by a sudden blight that destroyed their crops overnight. Everything they had worked for was turning to dust before their eyes. Scorpio, secretive and intense, had a long-buried secret exposed, forcing them to confront a past they thought they had escaped. The shame was a shadow they couldn't outrun. 11 friends, 11 broken hearts. Each tear that fell seemed to fuel the town's oppressive gloom. Now only one remained. Capricorn. Everyone looked to Capricorn. They had been the rock, the one who found the book, the one who tried to strategize a way through this. But they were just as scared as everyone else. Their trial had not yet come, and the anticipation was its own form of torture. Dvets, they felt the weight of their friend's sorrow, the expectation that they'd know, the stoic, disciplined goat, would somehow endure. Capricorn locked themselves in the library, staring at the book. It now listed 11 names, 11 sorrows. At the bottom, a new line appeared. The goat stands at the summit, alone. The final trial is not to endure pain, but to bear the pain of others. Suddenly, Capricorn understood. The trial wasn't about avoiding tears. It was about why you cried. 2. They walked out of the library and found their 11 friends huddled together in the town square, shivering more from sadness than the cold. Their faces were etched with their personal grief. They looked up as Capricorn approached, expecting to see a stoic, tearless victor. Instead, they saw Capricorn's shoulders begin to shake. They looked at Sagittarius and felt the sting of a dream deferred. They looked at Gemini and felt the crushing weight of isolation. They looked at Aries and felt the fire of helpless rage. One by one, they looked at each friend, truly seeing and feeling their specific, unique pain. They weren't just observing it. They were absorbing it, sharing the burden. And then Capricorn began to weep. Not for themselves, not for a trial they had to face, but for their friends. For their collective loss. For their shared humanity. It was a cry not of weakness or despair, but of profound, gut-wrenching empathy. As Capricorn's first tear of empathy hit the frozen ground, a strange warmth spread through the square. The heavy, oppressive silence broke. The other friends looked at each other, and for the first time in weeks, they truly saw one another beyond their own pain. The book in the library glowed one last time. Its final line read, "The tear of the self is surrender. The tear for another is strength. The survivor is not the one who does not cry, but the one who cries for the right reason." December didn't end without tears. It ended with 12 friends, huddled together, sharing their sorrows and, in doing so, rediscovering their strength. The true sign that survived wasn't a zodiac sign, but a sign of compassion. They understood that you don't survive hardship by avoiding the pain, but by facing it together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more.